Hi guys, so I'm going to read Uncanny X-Men number 121. So this is the first full appearance of Alpha Flight, which is the Canadian superhero team in Marvel. Like the Wolverine comic I did, this is technically their second appearance because they made a cameo, but it was only a cameo appearance in the last issue. But I decided I read this one because it's their full appearance. Like they're fully in it. But the Uncanny X-Men. Alpha Flight attacks. The X-Men battle to save Wolverine from Canada's fighting mad superheroes. Cyclops, Storm, Banshee, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Colossus, Children of the Atom, students of Charles Xavier, mutants, feared and hated by the world they have sworn to protect. These are the strangest heroes of all. Stan Lee presents the Uncanny X-Men. Shootout at the Stampede. Chris Claremont and John Byrne, author, co-plotters, penciler. Terry Austin, inker. Diana Albers, letterer. Glennis Ween, colorist. Roger Stern, editor. Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. The Calgary Stampede is called the greatest outdoor show on Earth, and during the year, well over 1 million people visit the vast recreational complex surrounding the fairground. It's winter now. The city of Calgary braced for the onslaught of a vicious Arctic blizzard, and the park is empty, its gates closed and locked. But when the X-Men come calling, they might as well have been left wide open.
Cyclops, did we have to break those doors down? Could we not, Storm, have flown us inside?
Too risky, Colossus. Carrying both of us, she'd be a sitting duck. Besides, after what we've been through, I'm in no mood to be gentle.
Which way, Cyclops?
You scout ahead, Storm. See if you can spot anything from the air. Colossus and I will search on foot. Not good. The X-Men obviously don't intend giving up Wolverine without a fight. At least I can make sure no innocents get involved, once I scatter some magic dust across the entrance. The entire Stampede grounds will be sealed. I wish I could make sense of this. All we were doing was flying home from Japan. Now we're in a fight, and right off the bat our strength's cut in half. As he moves through the deserted fairground, Cyclops thinks back across the hours, to the freak storm that had headed their plane off its course, and forced it to land at Calgary, in the western Canadian province of Alberta. They were expected.
Wolverine, you know who this is, and why I'm here. Surrender, or I won't be responsible for what happens.
Months ago, James Hudson, the Vindicator, had attacked the X-Men in New York in a vain attempt to capture Wolverine. Now, on his home turf, he was trying again. Only this time he brought friends. One of them threw the X-Men's plane through a hangar. But when Vindicator searched the wreckage, he came up empty, handed his prey had escaped. Storm pulled the blizzard down on top of the airport, and, using it for cover, the X-Men made their way into Calgary, with their Canadian heroes hot on their heels. Vindicator cornered Storm and Banshee in the Toronto Dominion Mall. The battle was brief, and no contest. Other X-Men didn't fare so well. Wolverine and Nightcrawler both disappeared, presumably taken prisoner. Cyclops swore to rescue them. But first, they had to be found. When Peter and I saw him, Hudson was heading southeast.
His power creates a distinctive energy trail. A disruption in the air I think I can follow.
Then what are we waiting for? It was hard work. Storm lost the faint trail more than once. But finally, it led them to the Stampede grounds. And then...
I found them! Beyond that building, Nightcrawler and Wolverine are alone in the center of some huge field. They look unconscious.
Cyclops, should we be this direct? Suppose it is a trap.
I'm sure it's a trap. But with just the three of us against Lord knows how many, we can't afford to split our forces. Get the gate, Colossus.
As you wish, comrade.
Cyclops, are we doing the right thing if Wolverine is wanted by his government?
He's no criminal, or Professor X would have never tapped him for the X-Men. Wolverine said he resigned, Storm. His people have no more hold on him. See anyone around?
No one, but they could easily be hidden.
Let's go, then. I guess the bottom line, Storm, is that Wolverine is our friend. And whatever the cost, the X-Men take care of their own.
An admirable sentiment, Cyclops. But this time, the cost may be more than you can bear.
What?
By the White Wolf!
This is Alpha Flight, Canada's first team of superheroes. The culmination of a decade of intensive research and development, and they think they're the equal of any supergroup on Earth. Aurora, Shawman, Northstar, Sasquatch, Snowbird, and Vindicator.
We've no quarrel with you, X-Men. You can take your blue-skinned friend and go. We'll guarantee you safe conduct into the States. But Wolverine stays.
Meanwhile, back at the main gate, Misty Knight, Colleen Wing, and Banshee have arrived, only to find that...
We're too late.
Looks like it, Misty. If I were healthy, I'd be in there with them, instead of hanging back out of harm's way. I'm taking a look around.
Sean, don't.
Relax, Colleen. Maybe I can't use me sonic scream, due to the injuries suffered in X-Men number 119. But I've other skills.
Oof. You okay?
Little winded. What did I hit?
A wall. Like the air itself has turned solid.
And inside that wall, last time you almost killed Moira McTaggart, not to mention us and our flight crew a few hours ago, when Sasquatch scragged our plane. So I was in X-Men number 109.
Those were accidents.
You seem to have a lot of them.
That changes nothing. Our orders are to get Wolverine.
What is Northstar doing? Whether he wants to go or not,
that stinks, mister. Considering the odds, Cyclops, perhaps you'd better get used to the smell.
Suspicions flare in the young Russian's brain.
He's moving behind Cyclops.
And whether they're justified or not, we'll never know. For an instant later...
Beware, Cyclops! What the... Hey! I fear treachery! Buster, your steel skull's rusting. Sasquatch, no! I want no fight. A little late for that, Jimmy.
Wolverine, you're awake.
You got it, babe. Me and the elf, we're playing possum.
Glad to hear it. We can use your help.
Why did Peter strike like that? It's unlike him to be so rash. The woman's airborne, Vindicator. I'll handle her.
May the Great Spirit fly with you, Snowbird. Meantime, let's see what I can do to end this madness, before someone gets hurt. Grandpa never approved of my going to the white man's medical school, said it was a waste of time. He trained me to be like him, a healer, a man of peace. I wonder what he'd say now, if he saw I was using the skills he taught me. Form on me, X-Men! We can't let them split us apart. Pick us off one at a time.
You're pretty handy with those eye beams, X-Man. It's a pity you can't shoot them everywhere at once. Cyclops is down. Guten Abend, Fräulein. We meet again. Oh, a teleporter, eh? I think the time has come to start evening the odds in this fight. Nicht wahr? To do that, Monsieur Nightcrawler, you have to catch me. And that's far easier said than done. Run a bit. Snowbird flies as well as I, and she keeps forcing me away from the stadium. I could probably overwhelm her with my powers, but the local weather patterns have become so unstable, I dare not take the risk. You may be a match for my human form, woman, but can even you stand against a giant Arctic owl? She's a shape-changer.
We're getting creamed after months of beating some of the roughest characters on Earth. All of a sudden, we're coming apart like flaming amateurs.
The key is teamwork, Wolverine. We have it, you don't.
Cripes!
It's a little wind, summoned by a pinch of powder and an ancient whispered incantation. But, as the saying goes, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. To bring the X-Men to Calgary, Shaman warped weather systems from here to the North Pole, creating a cyclonic blizzard, and then shutting it this way, and that in defiance of primal natural forces. He still thinks he's in control, unaware that the storm has developed a life of its own. Now, its power builds geometrically with every passing second, turning in on itself like an ever more tightly coiled spring.
Looks pretty rough outside, John.
Oh, nothing to write home about, Doris. Sooner or later, the spring has to snap, the elemental pressure cooker to burst. Did you enjoy New York?
You know I did. And I loved seeing Grease on Broadway.
Me too,
Doris, Doc!
Oh!
Elsewhere.
That your best shot, Rusty? I've taken worse from the Steelers' front four. My turn, fella. Let's see if you take as good as you give. Flamin' weather's starting to match this fight. It stinks. Shaman's riding air currents out of my reach. He must figure I'm finished. That's his mistake. I should have known Hudson wouldn't let me go. I'm probably cost too flamin' much money. I just wish I was going in this route alone. I don't want the X-Men scragged on my account. Hudson!
Vindicator to you, mister. Quit being stubborn, Wolverine. Say the word and this battle's over. North Star's as fast as Quicksilver. Almost impossible to hit. Especially with my head still ringing from that punch he gave me. Colossus, you don't win a fight with your fists alone. You've got a brain, man. Use it!
Whoops! Ha! It is said, as Cyclops said, when he started teaching me judo, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
The eyes of the blizzard is centered over the spell-sealed stampede grounds, and the weather within that eye is relatively calm. But outside, wind's picking up, Paul.
Cold, too. Jim, Corey, we gotta get people off the street before the storm freezes them where they stand. No sign of Nightcrawler. Strange. I thought he was right behind me. If times were different, this would be fun. But they aren't. I wish I was more like my brother, Jean Paul. He's been a scrapper from the day he was born. Me? At heart, I'm a lover.
Fräulein! Boo! So he kisses her.
You elf! Tally-ho!
Just like old times, eh, Jimmy? You never gave me a choice about being changed, or about joining your tin-pot Yukon Avengers. Why should you start now?
Logan. It's not that simple. Heather and I gave you a home, a chance to be a human, instead of the feral wild child you've been. If you're anything today, it's because of me.
What I am, Vindicator, is free, and I'm gonna stay free, or die.
Suddenly, the core of the storm explodes. Winds of over 200 miles per hour, thundering out across the plains. It's snow turning to ice and falling like knives or rifle bullets. And even though much of the monster's storm force is blunted by Shaman's mystical force field,
Holy!
enough of its fury gets through to bring the battle to a screeching halt.
Shaman! What's happening?
I do not know. At that moment, high above the infield,
Snowbird's coming closer with every pass, yet I dare not use my powers. Goddess, the storm, it's out of control. Shaman, what have you done? He's used his spells to whistle up a great wind. Assuming that it could be as easily turned off as a light was swished. I can't waste any time. It may already be too late. First, I must deal with Snowbird. I should have thought of this before. With the stretching capacity of the unstable molecules of my cape, Snowbird shouldn't be able to claw free. If only my next problem could be handled so easily. I only tried once to shape a storm like this. I failed, and the effort nearly killed me. But I dare not fail now. The blizzard's core reached a frightening intensity before it started expanding. If unchecked, it may not blow itself out until next summer, if then.
arms outstretched, she soars past the clouds, into air so thin and cold that a normal human would perish in seconds. Her perceptions widen until she sees and feels the storm, not as clouds and wind and snow, but as patterns of energy. She reaches out, with mind and body and soul, becoming one with the tempest. And then, gently at first, she draws it to her, channeling it through her body, into the upper atmosphere, spreading its fury across an entire continent, creating surprise snowfalls from the Rockies to the Atlantic coast. A misery, to be sure, but as she slowly diffuses the storm's core, but far better than what might have been. She finishes a little before dawn.
The storm was more powerful than I thought. Forced me to tap into the electrical potential energy of the earth itself. I never want to try this again. Strain was pure murder. I feel like I could sleep for a whole year. You obviously the most powerful X-Man, my dear. With you down, the rest won't be any trouble.
Ho!
John Paul!
You lousy little... Storm risked her life to save your misbegotten country. Or did you think that blizzard your shaman created blew away by itself? Pray she isn't badly hurt, North Star. As it is, you're going to lose some teeth. No, Psyche. What gives, Wolverine? I thought I'd be the one holding you back. Yeah? Well, life's funny like that. Throwing you curves when you least expect them. I checked Aurora. She's okay. Only a little stunned as of now. This fracas is finished. It's my scrap, Psyche. I told you that. It's me they want. They couldn't care less about the X-Men. If I had a chance, if things hadn't gotten out of hand so fast, if I hadn't started enjoying the roughhouse, I would have called it quits long ago and saved everyone a lot of grief.
You're an X-Men, Wolverine. Your fight is ours.
I appreciate that, boss. More than you know. But I ain't gonna see my friends shoot up on my account. You want me, Jimmy? I'm yours.
You made the right decision, Wolverine.
Tell me about it. And the X-Men go free, right? No matter what?
You have my word on it.
I'd better, bub.
Minutes later, at the main gate...
What a storm! If we hadn't found shelter, that wind would have flayed us alive. I think we've Aurora to thank for its quick exit. You know, if I had me sonic powers back, I bet I could vibrate through this barrier. I'd better give it a tap. Make sure it's still... Banshee, are you all right? The barrier, Colleen. I felt it for an instant, firm as ever, and then, poof, it vanished. Saints, I hope it was for all the right reasons. If the X-Men had been beaten... What's that? An armoured car?
This cage was specially designed for you, Shorty. You couldn't bust loose in a million years. Of course, you're so dumb you'll probably try.
You always had a big mouth, Garson. Keep flapping it around me. And your wife will be a widow before her time.
Wolverine is not an animal, Cyclops. That man did not have to treat him like that.
I know.
They are not as lucky as we, Colossus. They know only the surface, Wolverine. They know nothing of his true self.
Hours later, the X-Men are finally heading home. Their plane escorted to the U.S. border by a flight of Canadian Air Force fighters.
They've been watching us like hawks all morning. You'd think they didn't trust us. We must be crossing the border. Our escort is turning back.
All right. We have two alternatives, people. We can go home or go back after Wolverine. If we do the latter, I wouldn't make book on our chances. But the way I see it, we have to try. Any objections?
I'm in, Scotty. And I, Scott. Me too.
I as will, Toivovich. Annie, change of course. Head for the Rockies, as soon as it's feasible. Drop below radar cover, and head north for Canada. We're going to rescue Wolverine, whether he wants us to or not.
I wouldn't do that if I were you, bub.
Huh? Wolverine?
What in blazes are you doing here? What's it look like? I'm riding home in style, and John with a pretty girl. But how? That truck, I thought... Yeah, so did Jimmy Hudson. Trouble is, the cage ain't being built that can hold me.
What about next time?
What about it? I don't worry about tomorrow, man. I take each day, each moment, as it comes. No questions, and no regrets. But if you're so flamin' glad to see me, Psych, show it. Let's break out the drinking stuff and celebrate. 'Cause the X-Men are going home.
Next issue, Cry for the Children. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests for any comics for me to do, just let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.